we go on to Glenn Beck. He's on the warpath now against Anita Dunn. Very logical target because Anita Dunn's the White House communications director who went after Fox News Channel after Fox News went after the White House over and over and over again for the last 9 months. So now we got a fight going on. And Glenn Beck, of course, as he likes to do, has found a quote totally out of context. But in fact, he's going to play it for you. You're going to hear it for yourself. And when you do, it's clear as a bell that she's joking. But Beck pretends that she's not joking and has decided that he's going to call her a fan of Mao. Yeah. All right, look, you be the judge, okay? Let's go to clip number 4 here and listen to Beck's criticism of Anita Dunn.
This clip is from high school graduation back in June of this year. And here's what White House Communications Director had to say to the teenagers there.
Two of my favorite political philosophers, Mao Zedong and Mother Teresa, not often coupled with each other, but the two people that I turn to most.
Okay, not often coupled with one another. Laughter. But the two people I turn to most.
Joke.
You know, I don't think Mao should be anybody's favorite anything, especially not your favorite political philosopher or one that you turn to most, given that his political philosophies included shooting political opponents in the head. Anita did have an explanation. Here's what she said, quote, "The Mao quote is one I picked up from the late Republican strategist Lee Atwater from something I read in the late 1980s. So I hope I don't get my progressive friends mad at me. Oh, she is charming." The use of the phrase favorite political philosophers was intended as irony, but clearly the effort fell flat. ABC's Jack Tapper tweeted that Dunn said she was joking about Mao. I just love those mass murder jokes, don't you? Of course she was joking, and that's so obvious from the clip.
Now, can I ask, does anyone really think this guy's fair? Like, does anybody look at that clip and go, oh, yeah, she wasn't joking? I mean, everybody laughed because it was a joke. You can't, Mao and Mother Teresa, do you get it? They're opposite. And no one in America really considers Mao to be their favorite political philosopher, except for Lee Atwater, maybe, the person who actually originally said that quote. Look, I'm going to assume Lee Atwater was joking, too. He's a very famous Republican strategist who fought very dirty, but not as dirty as Mao. Okay? So they're unbelievable. Now, of course, when you do a little bit of research, have Republicans ever used Mao quotes? And now you tell me if this is joking. Newt Gingrich said about Mao, used this quote, "War is politics with blood, and politics is war without blood." So a direct quote of Mao that Gingrich used to use. But you know what? So what? Of course you could use a Mao quote. Oh, Newt Gingrich used a Mao quote, so he wants to shoot people in the head like Mao did. God, fair people don't say things like that. That's absurd, okay? And now here's Karl Rove, another Fox News contributor. In 2008, in a Wall Street Journal op-ed, he wrote that President Bush himself, quote, "encouraged me to read a Mao biography." Aha! You see, I knew they wanted to shoot people in the head. You know what it is? Look, so they have serious references to Mao, but so what? If you're an educated person, there's nothing wrong with reading a Mao biography. What are you supposed to do, burn it? No, there's something to be learned. It doesn't mean you like the guy. It doesn't mean you approve of the guy. And for them to pretend that Anita Dunn actually thinks that Mao is one of her favorite political philosophers, again, you'd have to be, so biased you can't see straight for you to think that that was a serious comment. All right. Or you're the least funny person on the planet and just don't understand the whole concept of humor. Mother Teresa, Mao, they don't go together. Hence, never mind. All right. So now he's going to go keep at this, Glenn Beck is. And he's got a concerned parent from that school. Who that concerned parent might be is awesome, okay? So let's watch first. Clip number 5.
Is there no one in journalism that will stand up to these people? No one? It, as you can imagine, outraged some parents. One of the parents has agreed to speak out to the program, but they asked us to distort the voice and to not show his face. You have to listen carefully. At the beginning, it's hard because we've distorted the voice so much. It is hard to understand at the beginning. Watch and take a look.
It is interesting. The cathedral, as you know, is a very echoey chamber. organ sounds great in there, but human voices do not sound very good. And so
this is already
I asked
fun.
my wife, she mentioned Mao and Mother Teresa. I looked at her, and my wife has much better hearing than I do. And I said, did I hear what I think I heard? And she said, yeah. And I said, what did she say exactly? I wanted to make sure I heard the wording correctly. And she described it to me sort of casually, paraphrasing it. But from that moment on, I thought, I'm going to listen as intently as I possibly can to the rest of what she says. And I instantly, what's the word? My heart kind of sunk, is really what it was. Would you say, you know, those Nazis, gee, in 1944, they were making really attractive lampshades. No, you wouldn't go there, you know, you just wouldn't do it. There was no irony. Mao would have preferred to silence the opposition by putting a bullet to the back of the head. There are more subtle ways to do it, and I think we're seeing it right now.
Okay, let me tell you, before I found out who we think that is, I asked JR, I'm like, that sounds like a guy on Fox. I mean, the way that he spoke almost sounded like Glenn Beck, right? But it's not. You can see from the shadow that it's not. But it does look like another Fox News anchor, maybe, right? And he didn't speak like, wait a minute now. That couldn't be Chris Wallace, could it? But he spoke just like he does on air, with the same kind of words and the phraseology. Anyway, so and I love what he says. My heart kind of sunk when I heard that. Or my heart kind of sunk when I heard that. Really, your heart sunk? How about, did it sink, Chris, when Lee Atwater said the same exact thing before as a Republican? Did it sink when you heard the Mao quote from Gingrich? Did it sink when you heard the reference from Karl Rove and George Bush about Mao? They're such frauds. Concerned parent. Now get a load of why it might be Chris Wallace. Richard Wolff explains on MSNBC.
Let's look at how this video has just popped up about Anita Dunn and her graduation ceremony of her own son. You know, this video, which was not available for public record, happened to pop up on the Glenn Beck show, and it's the same school where Chris Wallace spoke the year before because his kids also went there. Was that just a coincidence, or is Fox determined to take this to another level? That's not about news, it's about personal attacks. Look, they may enjoy it for all sorts of commercial reasons, but it goes way beyond the commercial aspect here. There is an unholy jihad going on.
Gee, Chris Wallace's kids went to that school. He spoke at it. That looked to be exactly his cutout. And he's a concerned parent. They asked us to disguise their voice because they're really concerned. Who are they kidding? I mean, now you see, that's a joke. That's funny. Oh, God. What am I going to do with you, Beck, you clown? Okay. No, there's no problems with Beck, man. That's the funny part of this. No problems at all. The only problem is anyone who takes him seriously. Unfortunately, that's a lot of folks. And that's the people we're trying to address.